All right. Quick question for you guys. Are we echoey now or are we still echoey? Because if so, we have to turn down our volume. I'm not sure what's going on, but let's see the teaser. Oh,
okay. Yeah, we don't hear it now.
Not that we need to hear our own voices for this.
Sorry about that. Yeah, you think we would know how to do this by now, but we don't do. We did a lot of drawing live streams in the past, but nothing like a YouTube live. So I guess we should have prepared a little better for that. But anyway,
I'm Elena. That's Olivia. We are real. We are twins. We're not fake.
The room's a mess. Well, it's not too much of a mess. It's just a lot of art books and like weird art plush.
We still need to organize a few things, but let me turn the camera a little more way here. You see the plush tooth in the back?
Yeah.
It's like a scary
we put creepy teeth in it. It's supposed to be from that image. I don't know if anybody's seen it, but of that tooth in the dentist's office. I don't know. It's been a long time, but
we bought it, and anyway, it's there. But anyway, yeah, thank you for joining. We'll do a few of these so everyone can catch it in different time zones and different availabilities and stuff like that. But we wanted to do this so you could put a face to the project, because a lot of times any kind of like actual animation project, it's usually like within a studio environment and it goes through a pipeline and you hear people, after the fact, like who's involved, but you don't normally get to see like the people actually like doing it. And I hope that kind of brings a little bit more personability and, to the project and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, but we'll kind of just go with a preface just in general, and then we'll get to any questions that you guys may have. But I'll answer one of the main questions here, why we decided to do this project. For different reasons, we like to draw for fun and all that, but I think there, without saying anything too explicitly, I think there's been a lot of stuff that we felt, at least creatively, just to kind of not want to say as a response to certain things right here, but like kind of creating in a place where like we really wanted to create a more serious and meaningful chapters from the Bible, because I think a lot of people are getting information from certain things that I mean, if it gets you interested, it gets you interested, but it's always been done in a way where it kind of, it's not done in reverence to the source material. And we felt compelled, at least artistically, just to kind of start creating art. And it started really from that too. So it was like a motivation to kind of make something actually nice, something from the Bible, right? But as we were doing it, no more than a few months later, we were contacted by some producers from Hollywood. If anyone saw the video, we won't go into too much detail, but they didn't. I don't think they took us seriously enough to include us in any part of the project. So at least not right now. They're still watching, I'm pretty sure. That's what happens usually. So, but the thing is, we wanted to do it the right way. And everyone says that, but we with any available information we have, which is not much for these particular books of the Bible, but we really wanted to treat it in a much more serious way, more so than I think what the producers were expecting for us. A lot of people like to kind of water things down and make it a kind of appeasing for the younger audiences, which is not, that has a time and a place for that kind of thing. But we need something for the teens and adults, right? Like, for us, we're in our 30s now. So, but like it's very few and far between for something that really fits that mold. I mean, you have Passion of the Christ, and then you have VeggieTales. No, to any of them.
But we used to work on.
We worked on VeggieTales.
If anybody didn't know or doesn't know that the new one that a lot of people didn't like the new designs, but
if any of you
we
guys
designed-
remember that new VeggieTales that came out a few years ago, we did the new designs. That was us. If you guys didn't like it, that was all us. So.
let me just say, there's a lot of decision making that goes behind that, so it's not just us, if that makes sense. But you know, it is what it is. But you know, we had a good time on that show, so I don't want anyone to think that too negatively about it.
Yeah, we were the production designers.
Yeah.
If you go look on the Netflix show, you see Elaine and Olivia. That was us. So
yeah,
anyway.
we were only 19, so we were like the youngest kids there. You know, just we went from high school to a little bit of a local college for like maybe half a year or something, and then we got picked up at DreamWorks TV to work on it. So it's like you're almost like intern. Well, I guess there's interns in their 20s and stuff and 30s too, but like that's what we were like going in. And it's just, you know, the dynamics are funny and it's kind of interesting, but yeah, it was cool learning experience for sure.
So you could say we have a lot of years. You know,
Mhm.
we're going to be turning 32 this year in May. So we have experience of what the pipeline and all that kind of is involved in this project. And so we're not coming from just some random place. Now, obviously, everyone needs Hollywood type money for anything to happen. So, but basically, you know, the project came from a place of wanting to put something out there that wasn't twisting or kind of funneling it through these other. I'm trying to be selective of what I say, but y'all can probably figure out what we're trying to say here.
Yeah.
But anyway, so the thing is, it's gonna sound like really like fanciful here, but when we started drawing the like just the images, right? Like, you know, we've created many things over the years, and for some reason with this project, we're like, this is going to be a thing. We feel it, you know, in our heart, but like it felt like something that could actually be something. And that's not, we're very, as creative as we are, we're very realistic. Like, you know, we're motivated and we get inspired by things, but a lot of it, you know, it's like, this is a weird feeling of like, this could be a legitimate thing. And so when we had this, like this feeling, producers then came, like, you know, I was like, oh, okay. And even if that didn't work out, we felt like it was very validating with what people were picking up on. And we felt it before anyone else. And then started getting comments, you know, on social media, like, this should be a thing, and da-da-da. And maybe everyone says that very generously for any project that looks cool. But for us, we kind of have that industry mindset of the expectations realistically of what actually could ever get made and what might be kind of a passing dream kind of thing. Yeah, so it's one of those things where I think a lot of pieces are kind of coming into place that, you know, for us, like maybe hopefully God is leading us to do something like this. And, you know, there's been many opportunities over the years you feel like you missed, and maybe you're not as involved like in the industry as you would thought you would have been, considering how long we've been in it. But, you know, this is a personal matter over the years with us, but like, if it's going to be something we're going to do it's going to be for God, and, you know, maybe this might be it. And,
yeah,
you know,
we have a lot of original projects too,
Mhm.
but you know, like our web comic and short film we're working on. But you know, like you don't want to make, like, I wouldn't say deals with God or something, but like if there is something that you do want to come into fruition, let it be this one. You know, maybe out of all the other ones that we're doing on the side, and you know, we say who knows if, you know, we do need a lot of help in the earthly side of things of finances and stuff to like realistically make it happen. But that's, you know, that's kind of our hope and our prayer that could happen one day. So,
and, you know, yeah, like exactly, like, you know, we pray and hope the doors open in the right places and the right people get involved. But right now we're being annoying, as you can see, advertising the crap out of the thing because, you know, you have to. You know,
you have to be marketers too.
Like,
and it's like,
God, you open the doors, but we have to kind of do some of the groundwork, the grassroots kind of stuff.
Yeah,
too,
you have to do your part a little bit too. And it's not to say that somebody will come knocking on your door and then like you get this outrageously good deal or something, but that didn't happen the first time, and we were kind of not surprised by it, but it's kind of a little disappointing at first. We're like, well, let's just go the way that we feel like is the best direction to go in, and kind of, and it's not taking creative control just to take control. Like, we were afraid, like, they were just going to change a lot of things about, what would make it marketable to, and it's like, yeah, you do want it to be a little, I guess like not too preachy, but like kind of universal, but not where it loses the meaning in the Bible. And then that's what we were kind of afraid of, because it's like, it's just going to be generic, and we wanted something to be really different and something truthful to that. And Kickstarter, and I know there's a lot of like investing or investor kind of things that other people have mentioned, like places like Angel and stuff like that, but we just feel maybe it's best to kind of get that creator-led kind of thing into it, and that voice that would feel a little, hopefully, unique to that vision. So yeah.
But so it will be mentioned more in the Kickstarter campaign, but the reason why we would go an independent route, so the Kickstarter will be funding a proof of concept, which means a few minutes, like 2, 3 to 5 minute short, showcasing kind of like the vibes, more or less. It will not have all this information in it, just kind of be enough to get it like, oh, that looks cool, right? And kind of convince anyone, like as an investor, like, oh yeah, this is promising. So
it's also to get the feel and the tone of it, but the visual side of like, we will try our best to get whatever the budget allows to, up the visuals or close to it as we can. And then, if you get any traction, that you would get a bigger budget, to produce something longer and a little bit more, expensive looking. But yeah, and then because we have a pitch packet and pitch materials like an outline, it's still kind of in the rough stage, but it's just an idea just to get something out, and beat boards. So you can just send it all as one packet to any, studio or producers and the like.
And basically, it will help us when we like after like a proof of concept is finished, hopefully, we will use that to pitch around. Like we'll have to get a lawyer and stuff like that, unless someone comes swooping in like, I want this. But essentially, you'll kind of do the shopping around yourselves on your terms. That will allow you to be like, hey, we have an idea, or present you an idea, but this is our default and how we want to proceed. And it'll be an easy, like, yeah, we want to go because we like what you're doing, and it'll be an easy no if they don't, and that kind of thing. So hopefully it'll open the door for like investment. If, praying it does, we'll see what happens. But that's the first stage of this. But aside from that, we'll show you guys really soon what rewards you will get on the Kickstarter campaign. We want to mention that this isn't a materials-based Kickstarter, in the sense that the point is that you're not going to be just like getting stuff. It is to reward you for whatever tier you end up getting. There's some that have rewards, and there's some that don't.
Yeah, we will say for this kind of Kickstarter, in our opinion, you will get plenty of material things, but like stuff that feels fitting and enough. And don't worry, you won't be not getting anything.
We have to, emphasize when you guys see it, like you'll see it start from $1 to $10,000. So who can, back.
Who knows? Maybe we can show them. I don't know if you want to yet.
We'll show them
maybe later. But like maybe in the second or so live stream.
The goal is to help funnel the funds into making the thing, and that is our main, our main goal. So anyway, before we show you guys that later, keep that in mind. But if we have any questions on here, but
I'll skim through things that are relevant.
Let's see. Is Genesis based on the anime? We're not basing it. We're just basing it on the Bible. So the question is Genesis based on the animes by Rumiko Takahashi? No, we've never heard of them.
Yeah. So what
everything we're doing
Yeah.
is from our brains. Not to but
Mhm.
we're one of those weird artists that I don't like to reference other people's stuff. It kind of makes me feel like I'm not creative enough to come up with our own kind of stuff. So we kind of try to.
I mean, we have inspirations
know what I mean.
in our regular art stuff here and there, but like I think for this project specifically, we were not looking. I know people mentioned the Noah movie, and we're like, yes, we've seen it a long time ago, but there was not much that we remembered from it, to be honest. Strangely enough, but we're not just saying that to sound, like dismissive or rude, maybe, but yeah, I think just creatively, like we can try to do something different, and that's what we're trying to do by kind of deliberately not looking at other media.
Yeah.
Like we're just looking at the Bible and
then coming up whatever.
And of course, doing other research. But yeah, I think that's what we're doing for the most part. Well, actually, all of it.
I've been invested. It's a fan of the project for a while. I just want to say, sorry, thank you. That's a nice comment. That was a question. Thank you.
Yeah, I have to skim through.
So
how about?
this is one question
I'm
about
sorry.
how long will the time span be from creation to the art? Those are one of those questions you'll have to look online for. There's a lot of Google estimate.
Oh yeah, I think you're talking about the story.
Oh
yeah.
Well, that's a question that.
Yeah, but like maybe where the story will be actually probably from. So, it's like we don't want to spoil anything, but basically from the time of Noah's time, it will connect to the story of creation. And I think this could actually answer a lot of maybe several questions to people like how much will you cover Genesis? So one, I want to say, I hope it's not a misleading thing that like, well, don't call it Genesis if it's not about the whole book of Genesis necessarily, but it's Genesis because it's like the beginning of time, the beginning of like humanity, kind of. So I think we're connecting it to the story of Noah and to the time of creation, to what Noah and his family are having to deal with in their present time, and longing for time with like closer to God and paradise and all that, like true, genuine paradise.
So the name is for the namesake of the chapter, but it's also kind of a general like reflection of humanity and the fall and stuff like that.
It's like we do stories after
the beginning, Genesis.
And the main reason too, we probably can't do so much after one. You probably have to have a huge budget, do like a mini series, or like
you need money for that.
Yeah, I mean, like realistically, like we probably won't be able to do that, but we're just trying to tie it in. A storyline connecting those two particular things, and trust us, in our heads it makes sense. Like I said, I don't want to. I mean, not like you guys don't already know, like a flood and everything happens like that, and how creation. But but I think that's what we're just trying to cover, and it's you need an explosive budget to do anything like that, and I hope people understand or not disappointed. But hey, I mean, it's like if it ever went more further, or you got like more funding, I'm like sure, like animated. But the only thing is, I think like there's other projects being made from the, I don't know, it's like a Joseph, like.
Well, the thing is, I think our dream plan would be to have an establishing like feature film, right? That was just kind of like up in the air, and then maybe eventually branch into a series or something where it would be the animated Genesis. So that'd be cool. We'll see what happens. God wills it. Gotta start from step number one, though. So
So as a person co-creating for both shows that my friends are making, I just need to ask, how do you get more inspiration to history or real groups of people?
So documentaries, everything comes from online these days because we're not opening up a book. But I know there's, we don't want to get too much into it. There's been quite a bit of debate on our, videos of, evolution and creationism, that kind of stuff. Obviously, I feel like it's pretty plain to see if you believe in the Word of God, most likely you're going to, funnel some beliefs into how God created the earth, the world. and all that kind of stuff. So, and for you dinosaur lovers out there, I believe that, God created the dinosaurs, so they're going to be in here. But obviously that's not going to be the main, focus of the story, but they'll be in here. The thing is, we'll do as much research as we can to make them have a nice appearance and to be, I say, accurate as we can be when it comes to this kind of stuff.
Like we're not paleontologists or something, but I hope people understand that. But dresses, we will try to have like a line where like, people are happy with the way they look, and we haven't gone to that far designing yet. So it's like, don't think we were like, oh, we have a whole list of or things of dinosaurs drawn out that we decided on. Yeah, like we haven't, but we'll certainly, like I said, we need to wait till we have something more going on with the project. But yeah, like prehistoric animals and such.
It's one of those realistic things that when you like say we made a movie or whatever, like the dinosaurs are going to probably be only in it for like 13 minutes of the movie. You know what I'm saying? So to go in with that thinking that they're going to be in it the entirety of the project, like. You're not exactly watching like National Geographic or something, so it's like so we want to put that. We know there's a lot of people really into it, but we don't want to like well, we're not going in trying to disappoint anyone, but that's just the reality. Like it's just not the focal point of the thing. But while they have screen time, whenever that actually happens, we'll make the most of it, kind of thing. Yeah, and the part with sorry, I was a little off of a tangent. I guess that it might answer the dinosaur thing real quick, but. About inspiration history or real groups of people. Well, research a document. That kind of leads to the skin color. Comments. I know a lot of people. Well, here's the thing. There is scientific things about how the groups of people came to be, and I think. We're doing our best to have people, a lot of people represented from every, continent, every, and they all have their unique features that like, oh, this looks like can be from this continent or that or mixed together, and it's like, I guess in that way, I wouldn't say where could you go wrong, but, a lot of people might not like that we've found, but that's just like, you're not going to please everyone in that way, but look, God made everyone on earth, and it's like, that's what we want to show, that, he loves and cares for people, all who look all differently. And that's about as simple as an answer we can put, but, and we want to put the rest, the whole, if we're doing it for some agenda. Yeah. Our mom is white and our dad was Mexican. He passed away, but he was Mexican, Hispanic, and obviously we come from mixed race, so we're not for us personally, we've always been about the essence of something, not trying to push forward anything, but we do feel like historically and geographically, genetically, there's obviously a whole wide array of skin tones. I mean probably at some point. I'll put it this way: no one's complaining. No one's complaining about Prince of Egypt, but for some reason, people want to complain about Genesis. Interesting, a little bit, but it's like okay. But anyway, the design inspirations for the characters. We had them like on the descriptions on either like one of their pages or whatnot. But so then again, I just want to also preface like, oh well, it's not realistic that they would look like that. But then again, it's no one really knows. But two, this is just an artistic interpretation, and what we felt like. Oh, like people might recognize like this is kind of where. Hints of where this culture could have stemmed from, but like especially with the look of Noah and even I think we put like even Neyama's like headpiece, some of these like loose inspiration, but from ancient Mesopotamia, like Sumer, the Sumerians, like the or any kind of Mesopotamian cities. That's because it was one of the the first civilizations to be recorded in history. We're like, oh, of course I don't think they were after the art they'd probably be a little bit more casual, but like maybe if they passed down those
I wouldn't say styles, but to their other generations, and like this is kind of maybe like where that came from, some slight inspiration from that. But yeah, and I think that I would say that was our main starting point quite a bit. Like, I mean, even though we have like ideas, we're talking ideas for the pre-flood world, like, a lot of the really old ancient cultures, like, India and stuff like that, it's like, where can we kind of blend some of these together, even like, whatever Atlantis was, I don't know, it was more like kind of like Greek or something, but we wanted to. It might seem cheesy to people, but like we kind of just wanted to like, here's the thing: we will probably refine a lot more later and like streamline it where it doesn't look like it's so jarring. But I think that was a lot of our influences too. I mean, it's not like Atlantis: The Lost Empire. We love that movie, but like with all the crystals and all stuff like that. But yeah, I think just kind of the fact of having these.
It's like the melting pot.
Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah, I mean, they were all somewhat connected in their culture in some way, but it's like shoot, does anyone really know? Let's go take a time machine back to the pre-flood world and find out.
And I think we wanted to address unfortunate, and I think this is poignant. We're all adults here, right? Assuming we're at least older, right?
Mm-hmm.
About the so we've made all the sons have darker skin tones. One's a little lighter, but for the majority they have Naoma's what we presume anyway, her genetics pretty strong. Noah's kind of like but they're in history, not that long ago, there's presumptions about the I'm going to just say it, the curse of Ham, right? That was that misconception of a lie, basically, set forth back in the day when it came to things like slavery and stuff like that, which was the curse of Ham was not on Ham itself, but the descendants, and that had
Canaan.
Canaan. It had nothing to do with skin color, by the way. But just want to put that out there.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because you do remember hearing that. I don't know if it was like churches that we went, but like it was just something
just in the sects of of very old, that kind of stuff. So,
but it's like it has nothing to do because. Like why would that be prominent? Why would
but now here's the thing: it is also presumed that Ham's descendants, went towards certain areas of the world where there is predominantly black skin. Other than saying that, we made the other brothers also have darker skin as well, and we just assume with the families that grow out from that, they become who they become. But there was no like. Pinpoint on Ham or anything. Like all the brothers are the same. This is more of a curse of the. You can read. Y'all guys can read it online. Talk about like what the history of that.
Like, of the nations brought about after Ham's descendants.
But it had nothing to do with anyone's skin tone or anything like that.
I think we can talk about that and say that. But
and so anyway, but our primary inspirations were Adam and Eve. Adam is red in Hebrew, red earth,
like man,
blood,
red of the earth. And so we did a really stylized approach. Like, oh, he's like vibrant, like blood, like fresh blood, and that's what's. I don't know if you want to say it's cartoony, but like we just thought it was really unique. Like, oh. Like it's this really pretty kind of red, like ruddy, a little bit more, a little not as ruddy, but kind of a brilliant red. And we might kind of adjust the redness of how that looks without blinding anyone on screen.
Yeah.
But I know people were wondering. We made Eve the way she looks, and we our biggest inspiration was for them. I know there's interpretations of how Adam and Eve could have looked like, glowing orbs or. I wouldn't say mannequins, but that we made them look like they're from the ground.
The earth.
The earth,
rock sediments, layers. They have red, white, brown, black, gray, blue, stuff like that. And in future designs of Eve, that's a little bit more high quality, which we're working on. You can see some of the past designs too, though. You know, she's got ribbons of stripes that show different like variations of skin tones, ivory and browns and cool tones and warm tones that are just kind of in her as, you know, the mother of all living. But they're really, we jokingly call them the dirt blogs, because they're made from the, you know, the earth, and, you know, obviously Eve is, you know, from Adam, but they're inspired by dirt. So we're not trying to make any kind of statement of like, what color is this and what color, like Adam is red and then Eve is mud brown with some pretty little sparkles and stuff like that. Sediment, stardust, all that. Simple as that. Adam's hair is a little bit more wavy, and some we're working on a kind of a slightly tweaked version of them. Yeah. Kind of this, you know, wind blown hair, and then Eve has all the different textures of all the kind of hair that everyone, like, you know, that'd be so cool, right? If we could design that like in animation.
Yeah, especially like CG, that would look cool. I don't know how realistic or stylized we would ever do it, but
have every type of hair type, like straight, curly, whatever, like that would be so cool. And then their eyes are glowing and all that. So
but, like we want them to feel familiar and you know, to people, but we did wanted to make them different than, you know, art that you'd see in a lot of European, you know, depictions. And, you know, nothing like necessarily wrong with, you know, that everyone just kind of draws inspiration, like, yeah, I feel inspired to paint this, and it's like, cool, whatever. But we just wanted to make them feel like, whoa, you know, that is kind of different, but you still recognize them as Adam and Eve. You know, we don't know how they really look like either, so we're not trying to put in a stamp on this is how they look like. And I hope people like don't think that like we're so, because when we get to heaven, we're like, oh, this is Adam and Eve. Like we were wrong.
Or you give them the side eye, like, hey guys, like, what happened? Like, you know.
So what about that fruit?
Yeah. But anyway.
Yeah. Wow. Sorry, I'm just there's a lot of questions. I'm sorry, we're just trying to read through. Sorry, you just ended up scrolling down.
I think it'll start from here.
Which one would you want to
well, I mean, that's the question. I mean, we're Christian, but anyone can watch it.
Yeah.
Have fun. Simple as that.
Yeah. Will the dinosaurs be killed off after the arc?
We can't be responsible for that.
Like I said, it depends on how far we'll go, but I would just say, this is our personal opinion, probably not. They'd probably still be around because
there probably will be.
They have their little dinosaur companion.
Let's kind of assume when a flood happens, there's some that are able to survive and some that aren't. I mean, I don't know, right?
Yeah,
let's just kind of go.
Then again, I know people might, you know, have thoughts about that, but
that's kind of sad. But there's a lot of stuff that probably didn't survive.
But we have a little. I don't know what the name is yet, but a little dinosaur.
Noah's
companion that we want to make a character. So I think that would be sad if we kill them off just yet, you know. But
he'll find a way.
Yeah.
But I have to think about it too. A lot of at least the theories, right? All the animals on the ark were probably juvenile.
Yeah.
So you're not gonna have a big old long neck unless you had like, you know, if there were some aquatic creatures that could swim, they survived. If there were dinosaur type variations, they would survive. But you know, we kind of have to think, you know, a little realistic about it. Not all the animals survived either. There was plenty of them that didn't make it. So, but yeah. Have you ever watched The Prince of Egypt? Many times.
Yes.
We at least watch it once or twice a year.
That's one of our favorite animated movies of all time.
But you know, on this quick subject here, it's kind of bad in a way that when it comes to mature Bible animated projects, like mature, like, you know, in that sense, that people only reference Prince of Egypt, like that's all we got. So it'd be cool if Genesis happened. That's all I could say. Not saying Genesis will be like the Prince of Egypt, but you know what I'm saying, like to have another one in that docket of demographic appeal, that would be cool. Yeah.
It's proof of concept. Do you write out a script for scenes or kind of just outline what you want to create visually? So a lot of the way we just always start, besides the Bible itself as being the original script per se. We usually just draw pictures first, inspired by that, and then it does sound kind of, when we say it out loud, silly to say like, oh, to figure out a narrative, because it's like, we didn't live the time, or we didn't write the original books, but to kind of piece together how to connect the stories to it. So like, we were like, oh, we were always interested about like the time of Noah, like the pre-flood world. Like, that's interesting, and nothing wrong with doing books later down the line, but you don't really see, besides the Noah 2014 movie, but like, you don't see a lot of, I don't want to say, I mean, that was interesting in of itself. Don't get me wrong. We weren't a particular fan of the movie for many reasons, but for entertainment value, it's okay. People liked it, but like kind of a more, there's always creative liberties too on our end. Don't get us wrong, but like a little bit more of a somewhat accurate take. People can debate that still, but but like, and to the scripture as well, and to the intent of the scripture. I think more in that vein what I mean by accurate, but also like, just done in a really creative visual way, like how we would write that. We just start painting these things, or for instance, kind of like, well, the firmament's already in the Bible, and as we always say, people have different depictions on what that is or what that means, but we're like, it'd be kind of cool if, like, and, it might not look that jarring in final animation or whatever, but like, how would that kind of look like, and did they, I don't know, I guess they mentioned it in, in dialogue somewhere, it's quite interesting to see how, how the characters are aware of, the things around them in their world, and the spiritual affairs and stuff. Just, I don't know, there's a mixture of different cool things to do.
And we think as things progress in the project, we want to get a good writer that understands, well, not a good writer, but like, it would be great to have a writer that, maybe two or one, depending, that understood like the biblical, narrative, but also could write for entertainment. And that's going to be an interesting thing. We have, that would, later on the line, we would love to be help involved in the story, but you can't do everything, right? So essentially right now we're kind of throwing out general ideas, but we would love to have someone like later in to help us kind of script write, is what they say. So that'd be cool.
So how long is this project? Is it a movie, a series?
We don't know yet.
We don't know. We were in talks actually about, or with the producers, of either a movie or a limited series, but we don't know. Depends on just how much we can do and how much money we make from the Kickstarter with a proof of concept, but actually how much, if that gets pitched around, what we're able to do with that. But we don't know yet. So interested to know if you've seen any of Dr. Michael S. Heiser, Bible Project. Your project undertakes to capture Genesis. It's always imagined.
We watch Bible Project here and there. Just kind of nice little tidbits of scriptural information, stuff like that. We don't know who the other guy is, though. Sorry. So
I don't know.
You just said you weren't.
Maybe they're responding. I was like, well, we're Christian, but
let's keep it nice and cordial in here, guys. Can this how you balance the truth of the Bible with the necessary creative license? Okay, great question. We have this mentioned in the Kickstarter as well, just for people to read, but great question. So, like, for instance, the Noah movie, it took a lot of liberties of, now here again, no one knows how Noah, like, and all that stuff happened, right? Like how all these nuances and in-betweens, right? You kind of have to fill in the blanks for some stuff. But what our core focus is that it's the story of, redemption, like I'll call it pre-redemption. It's like the redemption before Jesus story, right? So this will be shown in a way of like, that is our ultimate thing, right? The fall, but that God still has a plan, and it's unfortunate the way things unfolded, but it's essentially that is the main focus. Everything will be built around that. We don't want to lose that focus. Like for the Noah film, if you've seen it, I know we keep mentioning it, but people keep throwing it at us like it's not that. But they took a lot of liberties of it kind of was more on in the sense of environmentalism and like
we're not
what
saying
was
that they
it?
probably didn't destroy some of the Earth, but it's not like
It was less about
Yeah.
the redemptive
yeah.
pre-arc, but it was more about like other aspects that were less about God,
Mm-hmm.
and it became more of like a nature versus human story. I think that was a
Yeah.
little. It kind of
Also, it's like I'm sure Noah wasn't. I mean, he was a a righteous man, in his family, but I'm sure he wasn't perfect in real life. But the thing is, why did they make him a psycho?
yeah.
Like in the movie, it was weird because like he wanted to like kill like one of the like this son's wife's baby or something to make. I don't know.
To make
Anyway,
room on the ark or
yeah,
some
I
other
forgot what
thing.
the
Oh, because not to continue the evil or something.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
So it was some kind of weird stuff. I'm like, what? I mean, I'm sorry, like not to be nitpicky, but like, well, where's the stuff in the Bible? Like why was
And to
it
be
not?
fair, they'll be saying the same thing about
No,
us too.
in a sense of just
but,
like these other, I don't know, it was like like Tubal came like on the ark, like he got, I don't know, it was just,
and then
the giant,
and Methuselah like eats he's like eating a berry and then he gets like pushed
like
away in the water. I'm like,
psychedelics or something.
I don't know.
I don't know what that was. Yeah, just some odd characterizations.
Yeah.
But like mainly, like I said, I don't think Noah was like so pristine perfect, but it's like, come on, it's a little like, am I even watching or reading from the same thing? I don't know.
I'll tell you the truth.
That's our opinion. But.
Visually, it's a very muddy, dark, wet movie, and that is not appealing. That makes you want to sleep halfway through. I'm like,
yeah, it's like it's dim and it's dark.
Still dark.
Yeah,
like it just
like it's like overcast or something
the whole time.
It's like, wait, it hasn't even rained yet.
Yeah, I mean, nobody has missed, but it's like, geez, is it that much?
Yeah.
Anyway,
it felt cold. And I'm not saying it was cold in many ways, and they could have destroyed some of the land, but you know what I mean. Like I don't know.
So I was wondering how you plan on portraying the more controversial, serious stuff. Good question.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is a question for you guys. Is that something you're ready for?
If we were to show this to an audience,
yeah,
TV, movie, whatever, why? And I think that's the ultimate thing. Like, I hate saying like Hollywood or whatever. Like, what are people? Because we talked about this. Like, we would do it in a. I don't want to call it like tasteful way where it's not like it's just you're not watching like a horror slasher kind of thing and like. But we were like, man, there's got to be a reason for this flood to happen.
Yeah,
and we're not God, but like. Well, it's just like the before. What would Jesus do? Like, what would God think? I mean, not that we can think of that, but like, we did talk about like how what things we would add in there, and it's like, well, the question is, the public audience, would that bother them?
And it's apparently it hasn't because we did a questionnaire on Google Forms. If you guys, some of y'all filled it out. If you did, thank you.
Yeah.
A lot of you chose like what rating would you like to see, and it rated from G to R, and I would say not just the vast majority but the overwhelming majority of people were like PG-13 or R. So that kind of thing is like, what if that's what you guys are expecting, then the stuff in the thing is gonna not make people happy in a way, if that makes sense. I mean, in terms of like, why is this being depicted? I mean, because it is, and that's what it is, So if you want to see, if that's something you feel like is adding the realism to this project, right? We will find a way to make it where, you can't say stuff is like this is tasteful, but if let's say we're aiming for PG-13, you can kind of imagine where we could go with some of these things too. Again, it's not. It's made for entertainment purposes, of course, but we want to be put it in the relevant places that move the story forward. If that makes sense. But anyway,
we told ourselves even like, would that make people uncomfortable or make us? Because it was hard for us to talk about like it's just kind of. Then again, the Noah movie. Why if it only tackles one thing? I'm like, that's it. That's the only reason why he brought the flood. Like, come on. And I think that's why it's so hard to in our opinion, to bring this out to the public, like maybe where it's marketable and it's stuff like that. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, it's not gonna be like super like, oh, like it's NC-17. You know, it's not that, but it's. I think there has to be a reason for this flood to happen, and you know, all the crazy stuff that happens in the world then and in the world now. You know, so yeah, there will be some dark things to it. There will be some lighthearted moments because there's family dynamics and stuff, but yeah, I think it's something we won't want to shy away too much, and I guess that's a great risk about our project that we will acknowledge.
And I see a comment here. It says the right audience will be the ones who will vibe with this and watch. And
yeah,
you know, that's intended for, you know, if you're not intending it to make it for this crowd or that crowd, it will be for the right crowd. I think we all get scared about not scared, but like there's always this expectation, like what is the public going to think? And sometimes the stuff is not always going to be made we would like for it to. Because I think a lot of Christian Bible media is often very narrow in terms of who is you know, aiming for, and we actually do want a very broad appeal.
Yeah.
And I think the Prince of Egypt did that because of his art. You understand what I'm saying? Like the presentation of it was done in a way that you can't ignore. Yeah. And I think if we approach it, hopefully we will approach it that way, where it does have that universal appeal because it looks like someone put a lot of thought behind it. I'm not saying there aren't projects coming up now that are not being thoughtful. Yeah. But the audience is still kind of aimed for that. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. We haven't seen David yet, but you know, David is kind of made for, or I'm not, you know, trying to put it down, but I think we can kind of tell that David, that the trajectory or the presentation is kind of made for a specific audience, you know, to show at your, you know, your kids or your church or something. And nothing wrong with that, you know, but it has that kind of type of feeling to it.
It's okay to like have ways to introduce your kids to, like, you know, Noah's Ark. You see the cute little rainbow, and they're, you know, it's just so funny when you're older. Like, wow, this is a dark story. I mean, the whole Bible is actually, it's really dark and I don't want to say necessarily violent. Well, I mean, it's not always not really necessary.
It's the pitfalls of the
world,
right?
Of the world, and like, so, you know, why it's written in the text the way it is, and it's like, well, you know, it's crazy. It's crazy how the Bible is, and yeah.
And I think just the more realistic representation would be interesting. So,
sorry, we're scrolling down again.
I said I would be seeing too much power. This is an interesting question. So as a Christian in your writing process, how do you yourselves manage writing while juggling, trying to avoid writing something that would be seen as too much or controversial to people of faith?
Did we answer that already, kind of? Or
I'll just, maybe a little bit, but I think just a very quick thing on that. A lot of people are offended by anything written in the Bible, Christian or not. So it's like, you got to read what you got to read. And if it's in there and if it offends you, then it's like, ouch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the point, right? It's the sword.
Some Christians,
some
Christians will not.
But you can't please everyone, right?
Or some Christians don't agree on interpretations in the Bible, you know? And you have, you know, non-religious or, you know, agnostic or atheist. It's like, who, you know, see some positives from it. So it's like, you know, different things for different people.
The point blank, you're not going to please everyone.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. Sorry, that's not very general, but it's true, you know.
Yeah. Okay. There's something up here.
Yeah, I'm trying to look for it.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
Down. So will there be the fall of Lucifer somewhere in it? I know we had in that teaser. So I guess not really as in depth I think, and it was just kind of like a hint of, him falling from heaven with with the rest of the angels. But it won't be the main thing. It's just for, there's this way and weirdly enough, that might be it for what you see. Not really, because I think they're already making like a movie, like Mel Gibson or something about what is it?
It's called Resurrection.
Resurrection. I don't know if like the fall of Lucifer might be in there. Or
Darn,
something.
I hope you don't.
I know. I mean, it's kind of like cool or whatever, but it's like, shoot, I hope
We better get on this thing.
yeah, like hurry up.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, whatever, but it won't probably be the main thing.
But maybe in a series it would be.
Yeah,
like
a different animated
expansion.
version of it. But
Yeah. Will we see Cain and Abel and Seth? Probably not in this. Again, there's a lot of stuff that will be set, like, this is just like hypothetical here, but like for a series, and there's some things that can only fit in a, film.
There was one thing we were talking about. I wouldn't say like a cameo. Anyway, that's for about the throwing the ark or something. Anyway.
Oh yeah.
Anyway,
We won't
like
say that, yeah.
I won't call it spoilers. There's a certain way we want to show a part of it, but we'll see. But yeah, we don't have the whole thing in there. I'm sorry. We show the beginning of creation, or will Noah explain it to throughout the story?
I mean, that'd be cool. That's one of the coolest visual things you can do.
Yeah,
we
just
gotta
say,
be better than the Noah movies.
Yeah.
We keep clowning. I'm sorry.
sorry.
If y'all like this movie.
I know. Okay, but maybe a both. Maybe a somewhat of a both to that question. So why is Noah's son in the Garden of Eden? Does that make sense biblically? Curious. It is a artistic visualization of them. I'll put it like them listening to the story of Adam and Eve. I don't know. I guess it's not so much of a spoiler, but in one of her first teasers, they talk in their spoken word too, but they're also telling the story. They're like cave painting, little cave paintings.
However, they showed pictorials back
yeah,
then.
and obviously they probably wrote. They weren't just like living quite as like cave people. Yeah, but I'm sure somebody did back then. But sorry. They're just telling the story and like trying to see it through, the children's lens as it spans through their whole timeline and she's just gonna check something.
I have to go check my duck.
Yeah, we have a little duck at home. But yeah, that's why Shem is in there, and obviously Adam and Eve can't see him. So, yeah. After this project is finished, do you have any other projects in mind or other stories of the Bible? Because I guess I don't know. I feel bad. Like I feel like we're covering some answers already, but time, budget, funding, interest, if that's applicable, and yeah, I mean, it would be cool to do more. We definitely wonder as creatives, though. It's like, I know you can still do something in a different way, but like what? I don't know what's already been done or hasn't been done. And I kind of feel like if there's a lot of things that have been covered, it's like maybe that's good. I'm not saying there always can't be a new take or a new vision on it, but yeah, I think for the most part, we're just trying to see something that hasn't been done quite a bit. Yeah. We'll do our best, though. Do you plan on allowing other artists to help you with this project? If so, what would it look like? I'm in school for classical. Is she okay? Yeah. Okay. It's our duck. Her name is BB, Banana Blessing. She's a wild rescue mallard that we have, and she's outside. So, do you plan on allowing other artists? Okay, with this project, so what it would look like in school for classical animation? I think this would be an amazing project to work on. We do hope to, if it expands into something further. I think for the proof of concept, we won't mention it yet. There is something that will help us move a little bit, but it'll be 2 to 3 minutes long anyway, but speed along a bit quicker. We will only say it until we have it confirmed in a bit, but in the future or here and there, yes, we do obviously plan on having other artists because that would be way too much for us to do. Does the serpent make any appearances in your story outside of Eden? In different ways, yes.
The gray guy.
The great, so,
well,
yeah.
In a
different way,
different form,
different way here
form.
and there. Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess it's the best way to explain it. Would a web comic graphic novel book of the story and its characters be something that you can create like The Moon and Me? It's
very cool.
Yeah, it is.
Probably have to hire someone else to do it if we don't.
Yeah, and I know for a lot of pitching stuff too, like, oh, to have like a web comic and thing like that, or a graphic novel to help get your idea sold, because it's kind of like visuals and a script at the same time. Whew, that would take a long time. So you almost want to say that like we're trying to get it out of the way with just a proof of concept and whatever written material that we have in like a Google Drive or something that we want to put the pitch packet together, and that's what will kind of show as a first presentation basis. And things could obviously change after that, but yeah, we thought about it, but I think it just might be a lot to do.
So some of y'all are kind of confirming some of the showing the ugliness aspect, which again, if the people speak and that's what you want, then we'll figure out something.
Yeah.
So the confirmation is there.
Will you show Sodom and Gomorrah?
We're not touching on that right now.
Yeah, we're not doing Genesis like after Noah too much.
Just Eden, Noah. Just
yeah.
Again, guys, it's just a money thing. You can't just make these days right without time and money and effort. And we would love to, and if we ever got a good deal, producers, whatever, that would be great. But yeah, there's only so much we can tackle right now.
Interesting. Have you guys read the Power Bible? It was censored for the English version, but the original Korean content had a lot of blood. I don't think I've ever actually heard of that at all.
You can always look it up.
Yeah. Yeah, and actually, I don't want to say, we're not trying to say it like a snobby way of like, oh, we don't want to look at other media, but we do look at these things after that people mention. But I think we can safely say like, no, we haven't taken inspiration from those specific takes, I guess, if that makes sense.
But we do like to see if there was something else out there and like, okay, this was touched upon, but
yeah,
it didn't take off because, censoring or whatnot. I think that's really interesting. This is okay, so much just for no, I see that the good direction for this one flood. Okay, yep, you're welcome. I'm sure there's a few we may have missed.
Yeah, let me scroll up a little bit more. Yeah, I know. Have you ever heard of a world building project called Dead Gods?
A lot of people have been suggesting that. Of course, we're not taking reference from that. It's the first we've heard of it until we started doing this project. So from what we have seen so far from it, though, it's a little more of a fantastical take on like the antediluvian world, and I don't believe it's quite set in the Bible Genesis universe, like. And
I
think
there's a different like from what we've seen, a lot of mythological from other cultures, and
so it is a little different. But that's cool that they're doing that. Will it be voice acting? We hope so.
Yeah, they gotta talk
right now. I don't know if it's in the budget to do it, but if we, let's say, if we raise enough funds, and that's what the first step we need to do first is that if we feel it's necessary to include dialogue, that'd be great. And if it's not, for the vibes, with just the proof of concept. But yeah, later on, there's gonna be some voice acting, I assume, hopefully.
Hi, any advice for aspiring writers with no animation skills? How can you use freelancers to help? So freelancers to help, I want to clarify, help your personal project, like other freelance writers or other artists, I guess, to help in your writing, right? If it is the latter, then I guess just putting out a call out, on your social media to say like, hey, I'm working on this project or writing something and I have this idea. I need artists to help me visualize, this project, just put it out there. That I can say is just the best thing to do. I know people are kind of worried if you have any bites, but share to a friend or someone else, or yeah, just put it on your socials, and I guarantee like somebody or somewhere, people will probably go out and contact you for those things, and you never know. I don't know. Maybe try LinkedIn. I guess you can either be probably a novice or a professional to be on there, and you can just certainly try that. Put hashtags like, I don't know what the hashtags are for writing, like screenwriting, writing screenplays, and it's like, oh wait, like not job search or something like, what is it that we kind of put for our stuff too? Like not looking for work, but like
it's like
or hiring.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe
hiring or whatever.
Yeah. Something like that. So you could certainly try that, maybe actually try LinkedIn. I know it's kind of a typical thing to maybe say these days, but yeah, try that, because I've seen a lot of screenwriters or aspiring screenwriters that are, even artists too, in general, just visual artists that follow us. So people always looking for something.
Are the clips that have been shown up to this point still a work in progress, or is it the finalized take? Everything's a work in progress.
Mm-hmm.
Even what we have prepared for something is a work in progress, because, but everything, it's up in the air, work in progress, but it's very rough, right? People were like, this is a low frame rate because it's an animatic.
Yeah. Obviously, most people are, familiar with animatics, because you guys probably watch fan animatics of, your favorite shows all the time,
like but a step above storyboard, or has a little more fleshed outness to it, but
it's just a moving storyboard.
But the vibes, if you're getting a sense of the tone and stuff, that's kind of there's a question.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay, this is an interesting comment. It's not a question. It says, how Cain was afraid of someone would kill him. That must mean there's other people on the earth. I think this is an interesting one. This is not like it's just our personal take on it, and what we've heard too. I almost kind of feel like Cain and Abel were probably old enough that there were probably other siblings, or children that they may have killed each other when they were older.
You guys have to probably remember, I know there's the whole kind of other things of from other texts that's not from the Bible, like Lilith and all the other, there was other people on earth at the time. This is just our take. Well, they told Adam and Eve to be fruitful and multiply. So I guess they just had their children.
There might be other people.
Yeah, and obviously with the genetic, not a lot of genetic defects, and things probably at the time, since they were fresh, they had to do what they had to do, and that was probably with some more people on the earth. As they were older,
I think a lot of people.
I don't know, probably not millions, but they're.
I can't say for sure, because we don't really know, right? Anyone could really know, but I've always pictured Cain and Abel being older in their years. Yeah, and they weren't young where they killed each other, and they were the only two people.
Yeah, it's like they were the only children.
I think. Yeah, amongst the people that were already,
they probably had daughters. Obviously too, to repopulate.
So that's just another that's a plausible theory, but anyway, I don't know. It's just kind of interesting because I've heard that before.
Yeah.
Let's see. I like this comment. I like this version of creating the Bible story. I could see this pave the way for other stories from the Bible to make it more PG-13, rather that's film or animation. Yeah, I think I'm not saying this will be the first to do that. I'm sure there's things in the works now. The tides are changing.
Passion of the Christ was rated R.
But that's about the only,
Yeah.
But yeah, there, and I think there's more independence, things that are a little bit more on serious tone. Like you always get our dad used to buy DVDs of Daniel or something like that. These kind of movies that you didn't really hear of, but you can find tons of different stories in the Bible adapted and that are from more mature. But we hope, because you don't want to put everything on one project. It would be cool to maybe see this project kind of have people see the Bible in a different way. And I pray that whatever visual thing we got going on will be interesting and thought provoking, that would spark curiosity to actually go research and read, what's in the Word. not necessarily to convert, but just to kind of read into it, the history and
Mhm.
the lineages and all that kind of stuff. Really cool stuff. We love history anyway. We got that from our dad, so I think that's probably a lot of inspiration for even starting this project because of our love of history, for
Mhm.
sure. Let's see. Da-da-da.
Thank you. I know, like, I'll do voice acting for free. Trust me, it's okay if people want to do stuff for free. You want to get,
You want to get paid.
we will pay people in the future who do voice acting. Like, we don't work that way. We don't do free stuff for people. In general, I know they're just being
No,
nice.
yeah,
but yeah, it's
yeah.
like just to let you know, if anyone, if you guys do work, it's okay if you're doing it for a friend and you just like the thing. If people just do
Or
it
be a
out
part
of
of
their hearts.
something,
Yeah, I
yeah.
mean, don't get us wrong. But if we had a much larger thing, we would pay people. That's all I'm gonna say. But thank you, though. That's nice.
Let's see. Da-da-da. What kind of different? Well, we see different kinds of angels aside from what I assume is the cherubim.
Mhm.
Yeah, we will.
Yes.
That's it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if we'll go into depths like what you see in
Revelation,
like or Job or something.
Yeah.
But like, hey, I mean, maybe they're in like pieces of art. I don't know. We'll see. It would be cool to actually animate
Oh gosh, that'd be cool.
all these
Again,
heavenly hosts. But
we need money. Sorry.
yeah, we need money to make that happen. I know we keep saying that. It sounds a little like counter. I guess because it's like, oh, faith,
Well-
stuff, but we're in the world that you need
funds to make things sometimes.
things. Yeah. That's
So
the truth.
unlike our short film, which
Mhm.
if anyone's curious about, we're still
Mhm.
working on The Moon and Me. It's still being worked on.
Mhm.
I just want to preface this here if anyone's curious about when they backed that project. So we made 50 something K. That money doesn't stretch out too long, so I'll put it that way. But in terms of like, oh, you guys are doing Genesis, have you abandoned the other project? No, it's still being worked on.
Mhm.
We're still doing stuff every day on it. We are professionals in the industry, so that means our time is allotted to other more pressing matters, and that we have to kind of do like part-time on our short film, and that
Mhm.
includes also the crew that's helping us as well.
Mhm.
A lot of the people we curated specifically, I mean, there's some indie people, but a lot of them are also studio workers as well, and that means they abide by their schedule and conflicts, and there's some people that are on different time zones in different parts of the world. And it's a more passion project effort that's a little bit more indie in that sense, right? For Genesis, so like for our Moon and Me, like it's more niche, right? So the funding was a little bit more limited. The time and effort people want to put in, what they can fit in, it's more sparse. You know what I mean? Like you're doing what you can based off everyone's schedules and stuff like that. So it's chugging along. It's looking great. Just letting you know that's still happening. It's going to just be one of those things that a lot of people's passion projects kind of take a little bit of time, unless you made like $500,000. Different story. We didn't make that much. So on that project, I mean, we're thankful for the amount that we got, but you know what I'm saying? Over the course of paying professional standard money, it doesn't go far. So we feel like for the Genesis project, there's a lot more universal appeal to maybe to attain higher funding that would allow us to move quicker in the process. And we can't say anything right now. There was a question up here. I saw it.
Is it? Oh yeah.
Hold on.
I'm sorry.
There was a question.
Oh, okay.
Really quick.
All right.
Do you have connections to fund this project? Good connect. Well, that's for the public to help. For the funding aspect, that's kind of what the Kickstarter is for. But there is something else in the works that can help once it's funded. We won't say anything right now because it's not official, but that will help speed things along. That's all I can say. So be excited. Your money will be going to something that might actually, come to fruition.
We will probably in the second live stream or closer to the Kickstarter on May 5th. It goes live. Not to always drop in something, but well, the reason why we're saying that so much because we had it originally September 1st, but we're moving it sooner. It's just so it won't be prolonged too long, and we are a little annoying about it now, but too much annoyance for a long time. But yeah.
You got to do what you got to do.
That we will. I'm sorry. Hello. Will there be content in other languages about this project? we're working on something right now, literally in different languages.
Well, I'll just say what it is.
Yeah, no, I know about that. Yeah, I was gonna say it.
Yeah.
Yeah, of what do you call them? Flyers or like?
So it's not really to the project itself. We assume subtitles will come later, just like anything. Or dubbing, right? That's if we get that far. So we have to kind of. That'd be great later on, of course.
Yeah.
Right now, we're working on Kickstarter flyers that people can print and email in different languages. That has a QR code linked to the Kickstarter campaign. So if you can't financially back the project, you're very welcome to share it with other people. And that flyer in your preferred language, we can send that. We have a Google Drive of different folders of different language flyers that you can disperse, and that will help us out a lot too. Anything sharing, but yeah, we're working on that right now.
Yeah, either we might put a link on here. Are they ready, or maybe
there's
like on
a few ready. I'll keep adding stuff to it.
So we might either later today or tomorrow we will put on our YouTube posts. Where we're putting all the stuff like that on there, and then put a link to those things. So we have either like English, French, Spanish, Portuguese, Japanese, Korean.
And whatever languages
Chinese
you guys feel like would
be
applicable to the project.
Yeah, there's gonna be. We'll do as much as we can. It might not cover everything, but
so something to think about too. If you wish or compelled to share the project, just this flyer, right, to kind of get it out there. Like if you share it with 5 people, and those 5 people share it, like that would really get the word out. So that would help a lot. If, like I said, if finances are not aligned in the future for May 5th or whatever, right? This would actually be really helpful for us, and we greatly appreciate anything, even sharing the project. So we'll have that prepared and ready to go, hopefully sometime tomorrow. And if you guys have any requests for languages we like for us to translate this little flyer in, we'll do that.
I think we already answered that. Show the fall or potentially form some form. Well, that's the idea. Plan to show the fall. Or that potentially in the form of some prequel. The fall will be a part of this project. Yep,
for sure.
For sure. Will you add the angel of the Lord? Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I'm assuming the angel of the Lord existed back in Noah's time, and
just where it falls in the story.
Yeah, to place that, but
a lot of these interesting things might be like cameos in a sense, where they kind of come in and come out. Because we want to focus on,
But yeah, the spiritual realm of things will be a big part of it too, for sure. So yeah.
I think there was one question up there talking about like the Book of Jubilee or Enoch. So we understand for a lot of reasons these books were they were not included in the canonized version of the Bible due to, I guess, a host of reasons, but mainly because they didn't feel like it was applicable to the story of salvation or divinely, or I say divinely, but it was kind of like it wasn't the point of the books, right? Like of the main Bible. We do find Enoch interesting as a kind of an expansion of some of the concepts from the Bible in the sense of like the spiritual realm. And I think that's really cool. I mean, you can't deny that people don't think that's really cool, like what it explains in there, and kind of like it elaborates on things that, you can see why maybe it wasn't like, okay, we don't really need to know this, but it's almost like to include the spiritual weirdness, right? Genesis is going to be weird in that sense anyway. So like,
but to say we're like taking explicitly from there into this project, whatever the text is written, the Bible, that's what our source.
Yeah, that's the story part.
But
there's some interesting conceptual, visual ideas like from Enoch that is kind of interesting.
Yeah, like who knows? Well,
but it's not like it's just talking about.
I don't think it's going to be
rankings.
Then again, I don't think it's going to be like the rock giants.
Oh no,
that get blasted up into heaven or something from Noah 2014. I'm sorry.
Kind of weird.
If the filmmakers might come and find this video. Not that they even care, but like get us band or something.
Yeah.
For what? Hollywood?
Yeah.
Who cares, I guess. Yeah.
This is a cherubim with a blue coloration or concept art for the golden cherubim.
Oh, I think I know which one they're talking about. I think I had these kind of weird different versions, like where it was on that red page of Noah, the ones that were beside him.
Oh yeah,
Like, they look a little like
little butterfly looking things. Yeah.
Anyway, that was just experimenting. They are supposed to be the same thing, but I think where we kind of made their, I don't know, that was a concept art, but they are supposed to be cherubim. Yes.
Artistic.
Yeah. Anyway, that was probably a little bit of a weird one. We might not stick with that, but anyway, yeah. Do you think we can like screen share stuff, or
I won't do it right now? Yeah, it's too much of a hassle.
Okay. Well, but maybe when the plan is better for some. Oh, by the way, if they're even watching whoever was the 350, we're still working on your drawing.
350.
350, 425. I'm sorry.
That's a completely different number.
I don't know why I'm having the number 50, but 425 on the pre-launch sign up. Don't worry, we're still going to do your drawing. Like I said, I don't know if you're in here, but we haven't forgotten. Just busy with work and promotion and other things, but we will try to get one of your images. But yeah.
I think there's some more biblical related questions. I think we've already answered at the start of this video. Some people may be coming in late. If you haven't already, we recommend watching from the start if you can, because I feel like we might be kind of repeating ourselves here a little bit.
Interesting. It's like, I'm sorry, just other question. Like, did famous Bible illustrators like John Martin or William Blake inspire you? I think we were more. It seems like I've heard of those names, but actually more inspired by. Well, we had a page written or put together where Eden was inspired by a lot of I wouldn't call it and say anatomical things. It sounds a little weird, but like I mean, obviously nature. Like I think with its colors and its little intricacies of stuff, like we put together a page. It might be better to explain what that is, but we actually do have that on our Kickstarter page that you will see of the visual inspirations.
I think they might be just asking if, like, is it the way we're doing the art that might be?
Obviously not specifically from those two guys, I guess.
We just make the art. If it happens to look like someone else's thing, then
I guess in that way, not really.
We must have a visual data bank. We just move on to the next kind of thing. But no, not from those people specifically. I'm sure it's cool though. How do you plan on integrating God or His light direct? Okay. So how do you plan on integrating God? Or I'm assuming like personable, right? Like there's that whole thing about He was walking with Adam and Eve in the garden. I'm assuming that's what the question is. Or
telling Noah,
he just kind of shows up. And of course, like I said, no one is worthy enough to come up with what God looks like. So, whatever our visualization for Him, what would be like in there, but the fact is that He will show up in a physical way. I mean, in a way that would feel how do you even
I know
say
people
that?
like visions or physical form. We'll discuss that more, but He walked
with Adam and Eve in the garden, so there's that.
But I guess a mix of both to go that way. Yeah,
physical and spiritual and all that. Let's see. Seeing some discourse in here. There always is. I don't know. I want to say, for the meantime, unless you guys have any other new questions, I think we may have covered most of everything that we could think of, at least our motivations, inspirations, what we intend to do.
And saying all this, we don't know if this makes people comfortable still to be okay to back a project like this. But we hope this eases some kind of, you see our faces and you know, we're not theologians, but we can answer some of these questions directly. And, you know, I'll just say we're going to do, it's the Bible or Genesis is crazy, but not so crazy where like, what is it I'm watching? Is it, no, 2014? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No, I don't know.
Man,
Yeah,
sorry.
people might. It's okay. Yeah, yeah. Anyway, so I think after this kind of live stream, we'll have two other ones. Another middle one for maybe talking about. Unless you feel like it's only like one more live stream that we need.
Maybe we'll have one more before the Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Like if more people that are new.
Kind of a pre-launch of party. It's not really much happening, you know, but you know, maybe we'll do something interesting or screen share some things, and we'll be talking about the Kickstarter and the rewards kind of before then, or you know, we can even scroll through and actually screen share what you guys might get first dibs and seeing what the page looks like and the amount we need. Well, we might say the amount we need to raise a little bit beforehand so you guys get an idea of what you want, but
the different level of tiers.
Yeah, and we can answer questions in that way, you know, maybe about like a week or so before the Kickstarter. Yeah.
I think, yeah.
But anyway, not to always drop a thing. You can, if you feel like you want to help back this project when it goes live May 5th, pre-launch page, you can look up Genesis Animated Kickstarter, proof of concept. It'll show up and you can sign up to it. I think you do have to sign into Kickstarter, but like, you know, it is especially if you plan to help, want to back it. It's not just like a survey kind of thing. I will say it just gives us an idea of like how many people, and it, you know, there's like, not all pre-launch signups will probably guarantee people that will help back it, but it just gives us a general idea of like, oh yeah, we might have these many people plus more later when the project goes live. So it just helps us gauge maybe how much interest there is, and you know, if you really want to help in some particular way, that will be very helpful for us to be able to make this a reality. And yeah, you know, not to always drop ads or anything. I know people might think like, shut up, but like you got to do what you got to do. You know, we're artists, but someone's got to be the. You
got to be an entrepreneur a little bit these days, and I won't say unfortunately. Some people take great pride in.
Do you think we can put the link to the And some of you guys might have already signed up, but let me just find it and put a link. Second. Oh, you got it.
No, sorry, we spelled that one
okay,
wrong.
just go to the beginning word there. That's definitely not cool. Yep.
Copy. Here we are with this annoying link again.
Yeah, like wow, you haven't seen that a million times.
Okay. So here's the pre-launch link. Let me click out of that. Sorry. That's the free. I'll put it. Sharing is just as beneficial.
If you know someone that
might be interested,
have them sign up and tell them that
it's coming
project. Then again, this project helps the funding of this proof of concept. Nothing is officially animated yet, besides our concepts for the animatics to get an idea. But we want it like CG or whatever rendered. You know, you see from your favorite animated movies. That's the quality or the thing that we're expecting to have in the next phase. So
but we have some exciting news coming soon that hopefully will give you guys more confidence in the making of this project. So can't say anything right now, but we'll let you know soon.
Yeah.
And I think that's it for now. If you guys have any questions, you're free to ask questions on the YouTube post, but we kind of want to make this as something that people can watch if they did have questions. We'll try to categorize the minutes and stuff where we talk about stuff, but because, you know, again, repetition happens a lot, but we'll try to conclude most of everything in a video here and there. Anyway, I think that's it.
Yeah, we put a link to the page in the chat. So yeah, you want to find it there.
Thank you for coming by. Thank you for all your questions.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for hopefully trusting us and making a project like this. I know it's not something that you get to talk with people face to face often. I know there's a lot of stuff put on your shoulders, and I want you to rest assured, you know, we're going to do our best and pray about it and get the right resources and talk to varying people and really just kind of focus on the story of you know, the renewal of God has a plan, you know, and that is a sad kind of story, but it's also hopeful in the sense of what it's meant to.
God
come
has
out
a
of
plan
it.
for everything and for all of you.
Yeah.
And we don't always know what that is, but I guess you have to have the flood to happen to see the rainbow, you know?
Oh, gosh.
Wow.
All right. Well, we'll see you guys.
Oh yeah. Oh, last thing. Please don't
wait.
make the forbidden fruit an apple. It's not an apple.
Oh,
it's some
not.
weird looking thing that we made that's
Yeah.
gold looking. Anyway, yeah. Thank you all again, and we'll see you May 5th, and also help spread the word. And we'd like to make something cool, God honoring, and fun for everyone. So yeah, thank you all for coming by, and see you in the next live stream.
Bye-bye.
Bye.